Welcome to the Found Her podcast.
We are two women who knew nothing about starting a business, but with our faith and a lot of determination, we founded our company that has grown to over 7 figures in just 3 years.
We're sharing all that we've learned, our secrets to building a brand and a long-lasting foundation to gain time and financial freedom.
We're both moms to 4 kiddos, and through the peaks and valleys of being a business owner, we're finding our true purpose, and it's more than we ever imagined.
So join us as we get real and have some fun along the way.
Hey,
Welcome.
here we are. How was your weekend?
Better than yours.
That's an understatement. That's an understatement.
Yeah, it was awesome. Me and the kids and some friends went up to Vermont and we went skiing.
That's really fun.
And it was amazing and awesome. And it didn't suck as bad as I thought I would. And I can walk today. I'm only like a little bit sore, but
Winning
all around.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got a condo up at Smugs and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, I do have a funny story. I didn't tell you. I do have a witness to this as well, but I was in the trees and I had to go across the little bridge. And I remember looking, like it was just like planks across a ravine, frozen river type of thing. And I remember looking over thinking, ooh, don't want to go down there. And you're like when you're driving, you look off to the side and then your car like automatically goes that way. Sure enough, yep. Hit a bump that I didn't see. Boop. Right off the bridge.
Oh my God.
Into the frozen river. And as I'm going down, I was like, oh, I don't want my board to get wet. So I sort of like was in a snowbank and then I like threw my board like over my head to like keep it out of the water. But I could hear like all the rushing water like underneath me, but I was like in the snow. Anyway, I was laughing so hard that I like couldn't breathe. And my friend stopped and like came back and she saw me like down in the ditch and she was like, "What are you doing?" I yelled, "I'm just making memories." She was like, done. She was like, it's like the best thing like she'd heard all day.
That's
So whatever. I unstrapped, I crawled out. I was totally fine, but leave it to me to just, fall off a bridge.
Yeah. I mean, reason 887 million why I don't ski. Imagine me getting that close to a frozen river. I'd have a panic attack. That's it.
I mean,
It'd have been my final resting place.
oh my gosh. No, it was so great. I realized though, something about myself that I don't think I really realized. And I don't know if it's just how I grew up learning, but I'm kind of proud that even at my old age, I still am out there to push myself and push my limits, probably beyond what I maybe should be doing. But I feel like a lot of people, when they get to be middle-aged, like myself, they don't want to take the chances. They don't want to take the risks. I'm going to stay on the groomers. I'm going to stay where it's safe. And I know I won't get hurt and I know what to expect. I'm going to take it easy. Nope, not me. Way too easy. Let's head for the trees every time I was with my 2 girlfriends. And my one friend, she lives up there. So she was like, so we've got some trees we could duck into here. And like before she even finished our sentence, apparently I was gone. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's go.
Oh my word.
And she told my other friend, she was, that wasn't the plan. That's not what I was saying. And I was like, great, let's go. But I'm like always wanting to push myself to do things maybe I have no business doing. I probably don't need to be in the trees risking my, everything.
It sounds about right. Those are things like you didn't listen fully to the story. So you were like, I heard what I wanted and now that means go.
You said we're going in the trees? Great, let's go.
Yeah.
Fun.
And then also you're not supposed to do this. Even better. Now really in for it.
Oh, right. Oh, that has like a rope across it and I'm not, it's closed? Really? Is it really though? I mean, like.
We did just talk about, like the words of your life or whatever you said you put on your tombstone and you said a sentence. I actually would challenge you. I think what you say most, rules are meant to be broken. Like anytime there's a rule, you're like, no.
Oh, I do say rules are meant to be broken.
All the time.
Mm-hmm. Or what is that? Like ask for forgiveness?
Yeah. Don't ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
But also what apparently my friends, we were having dinner and these friends of mine just apparently I always say, it's going to be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
I fall off a bridge. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all going to be fine. It's fine.
Hey, I mean, either way, they're all good things.
I think it's a good life perspective to have, just
Yeah, I don't know.
don't take it too seriously. It's all going to be fine. It's going to work itself out, which actually leads into what we're talking about. Self-motivation. It's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine.
I don't know if that's self-motivation or just self-confidence or zero self-awareness.
Self-delusions. Yeah.
I don't know what my phrase would be that I say all the time.
Get her done. No? You don't want that?
No, I don't know. I think I say makes sense. Let's go. Makes sense. I don't have time for this. Makes sense.
Yeah, you ain't got no time.
Get her done. Makes sense. Okay. Well, on that note.
Anyway, yeah.
So,
I'm sorry your weekend was not as good, but sometimes, family time is tough sometimes. The little kids are tough.
yeah, I'm just going to give a little bit of advice for those of you with kids. For those of you that don't have kids, don't look at people in a restaurant that have a bunch of kids. Don't ask them, how old are they? Your hands must be full. Don't say anything. And certainly don't stare at them. Like, like we went out to a restaurant. We've been there before.
Judgmental.
Yeah. And you know what? And also, if you have kids and when they're older and maybe have left or whatever more, and then you're maybe out to eat with just your husband or girlfriends.
Yeah.
Just remember those days, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Totally.
There was, my husband and I felt like we couldn't like talk. Like, I was like telling my kids, shh, like, why am I out to dinner?
No.
I'm paying you money. And I'm telling everybody in my family, shh, don't talk, don't say anything. And like, this is a family friendly restaurant. Like, what in the world?
And that it's completely unrealistic to have 4 kids that little that are just going to be quiet out to dinner. It's not like
no
even
kids. There was no kids menu either. Tyler and I sat down. I looked at the menu and I was like, I don't see any kids food. Do you have a kids menu? No. And then they walked over, like threw a bowl of crayons at us. I was like, my kids go, what do we color on? I was like, I don't know. Use this. Here's the placemat. Color on the back of it. I don't know.
Oh, that stinks.
I know. And I thought like, I don't know. I just didn't do anything right this weekend, but that's okay. It's all good. It's fine. We've made it through. We're on the other side. So. Yeah, we're doing like a yes day over school vacation. So it's not really a yes day, but everybody picks something to do and we get up really early and we start like with whatever and no one can say no. Everybody has to be happy. We do something.
Okay.
Something that everybody likes.
You might want to just lower your expectations.
No, we've done it now twice.
Everybody has to be happy. That's the rule. You have to be happy.
Yeah, we've done it twice already. And it's funny, like when it's that one kid's turn, like if one of the brothers starts being like grouchy or mean, like another brother will remind them like, hey, your turn hasn't come yet. Like it actually does work. It works.
Yeah. Well, and they're all boys. So they probably like doing similar activities.
Yeah.
It's not like one girl wants to go to the princess store and one
boy wants to go, play laser tag.
Right.
Yeah.
That was very sexist of me to say. I'm so sorry. It was just anybody can go to the princess store.
It's fine. Well, actually,
everybody can play laser tag.
What's really funny though, my kids actually pick food. They'll be like, I want to go to Cracker Barrel for breakfast. Then one will pick lunch. Then one will pick a dessert. And one will pick like a take-home snack. I'm like, do you guys want to do any activities? We're just eating the whole day? Great. Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay.
I'll be reporting a much better weekend after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be good. I have to admit, though, that I did when I came home. I got home last night at like 8, exhausted, but somehow still found enough energy to go online and start looking at properties. It's like, how much really would it cost for me to get a place up here?
Right? Oh my gosh.
And my friend was the same way. I was like, I'm sharing all these properties. She's like, we should just go in together. Let's just get like a house, the few of us. We'll just share it. Great.
Right? Yeah. I looked at a lot of property this weekend, but completely different. I'm going south. And land, lots of land. Just one piece at a time. One piece of land at a time.
Okay, we just have to start with one.
Oh, I know. That starts with one. It kind of reminds me of like just jump, right? You tell yourself now, like we can tell ourselves now, we should have jumped earlier. It's going to be the same thing. I know it. We should have just bought earlier. We should have just done it, but I don't know how yet. So that's going to be a fun.
We're going to figure it out, and we're going to share it with all of you.
Yes, because we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We just don't know how yet, but this is exactly who we are, and we will figure it out.
So stay tuned and wait for that episode. We announced we did it. We bought our first place. Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about it today. So self-motivation. Okay. If you only could have heard probably the off-recorded conversation about self-motivation, especially at this time of year, I think there's a couple of things, regardless of business. Boston just had, we just had over 31 days with no sunshine.
Yeah.
And then last weekend,
tough. That's real tough.
We had was the first weekend we had gone 11 weekends in a row with rain. That insane.
Yeah.
So not only just in business, like in the atmosphere, like the world.
How do you stay motivated in general when
you've got cold and dreary and weather? It's hard. It's really hard.
Mm-hmm. So let's start talking a little bit. So we're just into 2024, and we started some practices really early on in our business that we started doing every January that really set our focus for the year.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think, with our business in particular, I think just life in general, right? You're coming out of holiday, whether you have a business that spikes in December, November, December, your life does, right? Like there's so much going on with kids' schools and personal life and parties and your friends and all this stuff that doesn't matter your business. It's just a busy time of year. So here you are coming out of this and you're going into the lull of January. Ugh. And January just has a bad connotation. It's just not fun. It's bad weather, especially up north. So, I think that for us, we're coming into, particularly in January, a lot of housekeeping type things. Then also you have to get ready for your new year because we're kicking off a new year.
It's a reset time.
Yeah. So there's so many things that you've got to wrap up, but then also kick off. So I think one thing that we really stay true to is dedicating our time to annual planning. So yes, we know we got to close the door on the previous year, but most importantly, we got to look forward to what's to come and taking time to celebrate the successes that we may have had or the opportunities that we left on the table or obstacles that stood in our way, whatever. But moving into the new year, what is it that we want to accomplish? What do we want to be known for? What goal or dream do we have that we're going to throw out there? And how do we get there?
Yeah. So I have to admit, I was never a big, never a vision board type of girl.
Surprising. That shocks me.
That's not my jam. It's 1, 2 little arts and craftsy. 2, I'm not a New Year's resolution kind of person. I don't know. I just don't. I'm into reflecting on maybe mistakes you made and how you're going to change and do better and whatever habits that maybe you need to clean up. But I never really believed in the power of a vision board. And I remember really one of our first Januaries ever in business together, you made us do this exercise. And it is crazy. We didn't talk about this, so I hope you can remember. You have a very good memory. But we put things on that board that I don't want to say they came true because I feel like this is not like a wishing board that you just stick things up there and hope and pray and that you'll get them. But we had some things on there that we came back to the next year and we were like, oh my gosh, look at all the things on this board that actually got accomplished or happened or much closer to. Do you remember some of those things on there?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a few that stood out in my mind. One of them being, we had the Channel 5 logo. We were on Chronicle that year and Chronicles aired on Channel 5.
And we did this for our whole team. Well, that was our whole team one. We did one just when it was the 2 of us, but now every year we do one as the whole team and everybody on our team cuts literally something out and puts
this was way
on
back.
the vision board.
Way back in the beginning.
You put a 5 on there?
It was you, me, and Natalie. But then that was the same year that we did the red building.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie was there for that, but we put a red building in the center of our vision board. And then we actually didn't realize it until the end of that following year. And we were looking back at the vision board and we were like, wait a minute. Our building that we're in now was actually red before we painted it.
Yeah.
And never dawned on us. We didn't realize it. We didn't think about it. And then when we were creating our next board, we were looking at our previous year and we were like, wait a minute. We did actually move into a red building. Like, holy cow. I actually just walked by. We still have our very first vision board in the other room.
Well, strangely enough,
you remember
in recent years, in 2 years, you put, I think it was just a work vehicle or something. I don't know. You would put up a red Bronco on there, and I don't.
Black Bronco.
Do you remember why?
Yeah. So reason for it was you really wanted a Bronco. I didn't really care. But we wanted a vehicle that we could take to all of our like stylings or whatever. So I felt like I was always rolling up. At the time, my husband's truck was a little dented.
Right. You had a rough ride. And then I had an old Volvo that never started. I literally, every single time I used that car, I popped the hood. I had a battery jumper pack. I had to jump it every single day.
Yeah.
That's how I rolled for a couple of years, actually. And it was fine. It's totally fine.
See, there you go.
It's not a big deal. You just have to it jumps, it starts. It's totally reliable as long as like you have your jumper pack.
Yeah. And then flash forward, you have a red Bronco.
I know.
And we take it to every like client meeting.
Yeah. Because it has really nice heated seats that we never want to get out of.
We might have to do an episode right from the comfort of the Bronco.
I love those.
But yeah, the importance of I more so than like your action steps and the goals, it's really envisioning and putting a picture of what's in your mind. You might not be able to articulate it.
If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there, right?
Yeah.
So we do make very clear goals. So I actually heard something recently that I loved, and I think that we actually follow it somewhat, but it said, write down what you want to accomplish in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Mm-hmm. In all areas of your life, what do you want to accomplish? Then go back, edit that list, pick out the one thing that would make the most impact in your life / business out of the whole thing. Pick one thing that would be the most impactful. Then take that and create a list of action steps on how you're going to get there. That might take pages and pages of all the steps that it's going to take for you to get there. Then do one a day. Do one step a day to get to that.
Did you do this?
No, it seemed a little overwhelming.
I was like, let's do it.
But I kind of feel like maybe we should do this.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I feel like we do a really great job. And this is my personal opinion. In case you asked.
I do.
I think we do a really good job with identifying the goals and what we want to see from a business perspective. But I feel like at times I've lost sight of me.
Well, I'm going to remind you. So back in the exercise that we started with,
it always had that piece to it.
And has that piece in it. It was like once a month, what are you doing for you? Or, is it a friend's birthday you want to celebrate? Is it a dinner out with your kids? Is it getting, for me, I remember I was going to get and I was going to get my nails done. Like whatever it was once a month. It was going to be the one thing for me.
Yep.
And it really helped create this balance because it was on your work spreadsheet that you had to do as part of made you include that balance, keeping friendships front of mind, because I feel like our time is so limited that's the first thing that goes is friendships. Nights out with friends. You feel like I haven't seen my kids all week.
So that I think it's like my me time. I think I prioritize I'm going to go see that person or I'm going to go do this. At the end of the day, I'm like, or the week, I'm like, I didn't do one thing that truly was for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Well, maybe that's a good point to bring you back to staying
Self-motivated.
self-motivated,
Right?
is sometimes you do need to do the little things for you,
I
because
think that would be a great exercise for us to both do, but personally, because we have it all for the business. But what about if we say, hey, these are all the things I want to, this is the one thing that's going to be the most impactful in my life for me, sure, to be a better leader and to be a better business owner and all that other stuff that will bleed into everything. But what is it for me? Because then we can hold each other accountable to that.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes right into our work
Mhm.
calendar,
Right?
and we know each other's appointments for all of the things.
Right. Like, let's try it.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we do this exercise, and we'll talk about what our number one goal is, and then the action steps that we're
going to take.
And now that we have a team, I mean, I think you can delegate sometimes some of the action steps. But when you're just starting out, right, it all falls on the two of us. So let's talk a little bit about how, when it was just us, how did we keep each other motivated, and even on task, right? On this like goal and trajectory, how do you stay focused? Because I feel like when you're first starting out, it's so completely overwhelming and there's so many to-dos. You can just pick away at like all these different things and never actually move forward.
Yeah. Well, I think taking the time to create, your vision for the year and identifying your goals, but then it has to, you can't set it and forget it. It has to come back to life at whatever cadence you want it to. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Not quarterly. That's not enough. But making sure that you're reminding yourself and grounding yourself back. And this is what I want to accomplish this year. And then think, you do a really great job at saying, is what we're doing supporting the goal, like what we want to do? And so asking yourself, like, if you reflect back, we do this time management and time frequency activity with our team around how do we distort our time and how do we spend our time? And you can really quickly look at it is what you're doing supporting whatever it is that you've identified as a goal. And if the answer is yes, great, keep doing it. But if the answer is no, why are you doing it? Like, what's its purpose? I think one thing that's changed for me, as we've been years in business here, it's the Ramsey philosophy, your A1, your steak sauce, right? So every single day I wake up, well, actually I do this the night before, as I look at my to-do list for the following day and what is my A1, meaning that is the very first thing I think about. It's the very first thing I do. Because if I do that, it's supporting whatever my goal is, and it's supporting the timeline, and it's supporting the business, and it's the right thing.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about how to create your A1? What does that mean? We talk about A1s and steak sauces a lot around here, and everybody does it, and we talk about it in our team meetings all the time. But can you talk more about that?
Yeah. First, I think this was we went to a Dave Ramsey.
I know. Use your microphone.
Oh, I'm getting yelled at. I'm like, why are you kicking me? You can see it in the camera. So we went to a Ramsey thing a couple years ago, and one of the things that he talked about was about priority setting, and this is a lot of times what people struggle with. Whether I would say a lot of times, personal opportunity lies within either time management or prioritization. Those are two things that a lot of people just in life struggle with, right? And I think personally, this one, learning this steak sauce philosophy is going to target both of those things. Because your A1 can't take you all day. Sometimes it might, because if it's really important, but then you've lost all of your other things that need to be done. So you take a to-do list and you write down everything that's on your to-do list.
Would you say weekly?
Daily.
Yeah.
And so this could be, you might have to, I think that there's a two-part here. I like to go through, it's a tool. We'll share it with you guys so that everybody can see what we're talking about, but it's a time management and it's a frequency task calendar. So you see all the things that you need to do, and then you divided that by daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. right? Like these are things that you have to do, but something shouldn't be worrying you daily if you only need to do that task truly quarterly, right? So you have to go through that work, but every day everybody has a to-do list every day, right? And so identifying everything that you might have on that, and I like to write it out first personally because I need to see what's on my plate. And then you start grouping them together. Your A's are like your most important. You have to do it today. Cannot wait till tomorrow. And so next to each one of your tasks must be the letter A. Do not write the letter A next to everything because that's not true. But what are all of your A's? And then B's, it's a nice to do for today. Could it be done tomorrow? Sure. But really within the next 48, 72 hours, I want to get my B's done. Now that's me personally on the timeframes I use. And then you move to C's. This is a nice to do, would like it done within this week, but it's not urgent, can be moved. It's a flex. Yeah. And those are your C's. Then you go back and you're going to take all of your A's, and you're going to rank them from 1 through whatever. And right there, you're going to identify your A1. You do all your A's and you put them in order. You put all your B's in order, and then you put your C's in order. Some days you may only have 2 or 3 A's, maybe 1, 2 B's, and no C's. Other days you may look at that list and be like, holy cow, I have 36 to-dos. That's not realistic, right? Like, and separate it out, right? Like keep your work ones for when you're at work, but don't put laundry on your work to-do list. Put that on your personal to-do list, but really keep it focused and separated. And I swear it has been a game changer for me personally. And you can manipulate as you need to make, your time frames work. Don't follow exactly, how I do it, but you can also just Google Ramsey and steak sauce, and he does podcasts about it. He has tools. There's so much information.
Yeah, we'll share the tool that we use, and we've used this with our team as well
for years. Yeah.
And even just their daily, like what are the things that you do daily, and how do you know how to prioritize? Because I feel like that's a struggle that a lot of people have, whether it's in business or honestly just in life.
Right.
Even if it's not at work, we can get overwhelmed in even just daily life. But it really helps you stay focused on task, and it pulls back to being self-motivated, because I think motivation is much more than just a feeling. Oh, I feel like motivated to go and do this thing. That's not realistic. More times than not, we don't feel like doing whatever it is that we may need to do to move our business forward. But if you're bringing it back to these action steps that align to your goal,
right,
you can do those small steps. And that is more of like a small self-motivation that brings you closer to your goal than feeling so overwhelmed with like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to have, I couldn't imagine when we first started even having employees at all. Like I couldn't even fathom, like, how will we ever have enough money to hire anybody? Like, I'm just saying, but like, we still stayed aligned and had goals, and you just small, steps work towards them. And then you realize you can do way more than you think you can.
Yeah. And I think, as we move in, one of the other things that we really want to talk about is particularly finances, right? And business finances. But we'll talk how we plan annually, specifically financially, the tools that we use, and we'll share those with you. But then also you can't just think about where you are today. You've got to operate your business on where you want to be. And until you do that, you don't start to see those changes happen.
Yeah, we have a nice balance, I think, because I'm pretty sure I'm a realist. And you are a realist, but you are more of a dreamer than I am.
I think we've switched.
I'm not a dreamer. Really?
I don't know. I'm definitely a realist.
One of us has to be a dreamer.
I run finances for the company.
No, okay, you're a realist.
Like, no,
but
Heather's like, look at these things and imagine this, and yeah, you're a dreamer.
Okay.
I think we both have both. I think we're both realists, and I think we're both dreamers. And I think when one's dreaming, the other is being the realist, and that's the balance that we see. more so.
Yeah.
We both don't go
it's
into
tricky.
dreaming.
It's tricky as an entrepreneur, right? Because you're supposed to dream big and have all these goals, but I mean, you also need to be like, okay, this is where I am now, and these are the steps I'm going to take to get there.
Right.
But we're big on tools and processes here, and we're super psyched to share a lot of those because they've really, I think, talk about like efficiency and being self-motivated and like all of these things. If you have tools and processes set up, although that's not the fun thing to create when you're first starting out, that's not the thing you really want to be doing, but it will make your life so much easier down the road.
And I think that's the part when you think about self-motivation, you have to think about what is the work that I need to put in today to make my life easier. Because when you have chaos around you, there's no way you're going to be motivated. You're going to be like, done. This is it. I'm done.
This is too hard.
This
or
is
just
too
think this
hard.
is too hard.
Yeah.
This is too much. It's too hard. Is this worth it? What did I have to give up to get here? Was that worth it? Oh my gosh, there's so many like self-doubts. I feel like you can tell yourself and spin. And that's why I kind of go back to the goal setting and like the small steps, because you've got to almost just put blinders on to all the noise. And I think too, when you're starting out, you can get a lot of criticism from a lot of people, about thinking maybe you didn't make the right choice.
Or why'd you do that?
I'm actually really thankful now that I kind of am just having this like a little epiphany in the moment. But I think about even like my parents, so I went to college, for nursing, and that's what I did for 20 years. I'm really surprised that they didn't kind of have this conversation with me. Like, do you know you're going to give all that up? Like, why? What? That's stable.
Your dad's an entrepreneur.
Like, you have 4 kids. I don't know, right? I guess I'm really, I don't think I'm not saying I wouldn't. Sorry, Mom. I'm not saying I wouldn't have listened to you. I'm pretty strong-headed, if that's a word. And I would have done it anyway if that's what I wanted to do. But I do think people look at me like, what are you? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? But I guess when you step out to make, do your own thing, put your own footprint and your own business, like you cannot care what other people are going to say or think.
No, you need the people that are going to cheer alongside you, step in to support you. No, you can't.
And even now we can't listen to the noise. There will always be
There's always
criticisms about what you're doing and are you doing it the right way, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think
we don't care.
No, I think I don't want to say, I think we're pretty lucky. We are pretty lucky with the people that we have around us who supports us for sure. I think one of the harder things, and maybe this is a topic of conversation for our later date, I think, but of what you're building and how you get past the beginning stages to, like, sometimes people just think it's a hobby, right? And it's not. This is like our work. We do this every day. This is how we feed our families, right? Like we've built a business, and it's not just crafting in your basement with headlamps anymore. Well, I love those days and I miss them sometimes. I think
you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. And I think what has helped us is, how we've motivated ourselves along the way. When we didn't have a tool, we stopped and we said, what is stressing us out right now? And how do we solve that problem? What do we need? And when the noise starts to get loud, we revert back to the list of the tools that we have to help us. And if there isn't one there, we stop, we think about it, and we make it happen with a tool.
And we often ask our team that, what would make your life easier? And sometimes it's a tool or, something that needs to be created, but also sometimes it's something really simple that they need, like box cutters. Shout out to you, Rose. Sometimes you just need to get yourself the little things that will make your life a little bit easier. And that also is motivation to, okay, we can do this.
Can do anything. For sure.
Yeah. But you got to surround yourself, I think, with the right people who are going to keep you in the right positive mindset.
Don't let the negativity in. Push it out. Cool.
And have some fun. Don't take yourself too seriously.
No, you can't. On that note, let's let's go into our questions. Let's not have any more serious talk. Let's have some fun.
Well, no, you should do the, I think there is one serious question on there, which kind of goes with like this positivity.
Oh, which one?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you're prepared to answer it, but I think it was on the,
Well, I'm saving this question that I have right here. That's what my last question is going to be. But if you want to ask about the tool or a process.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and please continue to submit your questions. It's really fun. We're happy to talk about anything. Anything and everything. Okay, so if you could pick only one business tool or program, what would you pick and why?
This was super easy.
Which is great. Yeah, we had immediate answers.
And I think Heather's answer around when I asked her why hers was that, it's epic. But I'm going to answer first because mine's boring. Mine is Google Sheets. You can do anything as a business owner with Google Sheets. And a lot of times I feel like business owners have all the ideas and the creativity and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, you're creating a business. So you've got to know where you stand financially. And those spreadsheets do the work for you. Don't sit here with a calculator and a pencil. It is not worth it. Let Google do the work for you. But Google Sheets, hands down, it's free. You need it. Can't live without it.
Yeah.
You don't need to pay for fancy systems.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know what I thought you were
I know we do use a lot of different things.
But mine's Google Sheets.
Yours is Google Sheets. We use HoneyBook a lot and we love it, but that's not my answer.
I was like, that's not the good one.
That's not my answer. It's one we all know and love, which is Canva, which obviously everybody uses Canva. But she was like, why? I was like, because think about it. If you did not have a platform to visually showcase your brand, I said, what am I gonna do? Have my colored pencils and like draw graphics?
What's your marketing plan? You're gonna draw it?
You're gonna draw it out and like take a picture of it and like upload it? No, like, Canva does so much for just marketing and making everything pretty, and that's our business, is making everything prettier. So when we can like use our fonts and colors and just make everything, I mean,
I would be
right. Like, what would you do without
Canva?
Mm-hmm.
That might be my second answer.
I know. We take it for granted. Imagine your life without it.
Imagine your life without Canva. I can't do it. And I remember I was so hesitant when it very first came out years ago. I was big into Adobe Illustrator and I was like, graphics on Canva? Oh, now, no, there is nothing better than Canva.
Right.
Yeah.
See?
Go to
daily. Okay. I want you to talk for one quick second about your newest tool.
Oh, my baby.
I know. Lifeline. This thing is incredible. It's called Rewrite.
Remarkable.
That is Rewrite.
That's your new tool that you're going to create now.
Remarkable. We'll link it in the show notes because it is.
Yeah. So for anybody that is
remarkable,
that is old school like me, I appreciate paper. I have a love for paper and a pen and a pencil. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a brat about paper and pen, particularly. But this is actually writing. When you write on it, it feels like you're writing on paper, which is really cool. And it connects to a cloud, and I can upload and I can download, and I have checklists. And now I sit in meetings and I just use this tool. Yeah.
So it looks like paper.
It looks just like paper, but then like I don't have this bulky binder anymore and notebooks. I don't have 8 notebooks. I'm not I used to, when I would finish a notebook, I would go back through that notebook to rewrite my notes in the new notebook that I thought were still important. It's a task. I don't have to do that now. Like, it's all organized. It's amazing. I highly recommend if you have not purchased and people like tablets, and that's okay, or you like your MacBook, but this is easy. Just kind of,
we still have our
it's
MacBook.
Your notes. Yeah, I still have my MacBook. My MacBook's my life, but this takes the place of the notebook, but the functionality is so much more. And yes, I understand you can do it with an iPad, but this gives me the love of the paper.
No, we have iPads too. This is nothing
like it. Nothing like it. So yeah, that's my new tool.
We love it. So we'll link it there. We're going to link our annual planning tool.
Yep. And then also our time management tool.
And our time management tool.
Yeah,
we've given a lot of tools this week.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. So we will catch you next time.